Good evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into our remote viewing show this week. I am super excited to have all of you guys here, and I have a full house here in the studio tonight. We not only have Jane and Gerald of Midwest Night Watchers here with us tonight, but we also have our very special guest as well, Dr. John Stamey, one of our resident reptilian lizardman experts here. And so we're going over two remote viewing targets tonight. We will be discussing the coordinate remote viewing data for the targets of the reptilian that was taken. Well, they think it's a reptilian in a picture out of a cave. The largest cave in the world is in Vietnam, and it's not the longest. It's the largest though, and I've got some charts we're going to look at tonight on the size of some of these caves and stuff. But there was a photo taken in that cave, and that was one of my remote viewing targets. And a lot of people believe it is a reptilian humanoid in that cave. We also have another target out of Austria, and it is from a salt mine. And there was a gentleman who claimed to have gone down there and encountered a whole bunch of reptilians wearing uniforms down there. So we're seeing if these things are true stories. Guess what? I got some good data for both of these. And so we are going over both of these tonight. And of course, we have more information on lizard people and reptilians. So if you guys are into lizard people, buckle up, buttercups. We got a wild ride tonight, and I can't wait to get this party started. All right, so if you guys would like to check out my data for all of this, I do put it all on my Patreon page, and that is over there on patreon.com/the Cryptid Huntress. If you guys want to become a member of my Patreon, you can see all the raw remote viewing data right there. Of course, I will be discussing most of the data tonight for both of these targets, so never fear. But it's a great way to support my channel and my work if you guys want to check that out. And also, I do have a website. It's called thecryptidhuntress.com, and I do have a calendar of events. My next event is down in Gardendale, Alabama on the 31st of this month at a movie premiere and Comic-Con. I'll be there in Alabama for that. Y'all come see me. And then, of course, we have the Western Carolina Comic-Con in February, and I have the Georgia Bigfoot Conference in March, and we'll talk about that. Those are Dr. John's events, y'all. Okay, and so y'all come see me at that, but you can find all the information over there on my website. And of course, I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. Y'all check out the goods. All right, thank you so much for all your support, y'all. Okay, well, I want to thank my moderators for being here tonight, and thank you to everybody who's in the chat as well. Let's get the show started. In May of 2011, a specialist in cave system investigator in Austria, the Czech Republic, and Poland reported his encounter with reptilian creatures in an ancient salt mine in northern Austria. He was collecting samples for a study about 164 feet underground when he started hearing strange noises. He said they were like voices that were human-like. They thought he was listening to humans, but it was in a language he could not quite make out. He proceeded ahead into a dark chamber that was illuminated with lights, and shortly after he left, to his shock, the lights turned on down there. There were some lights, it illuminated, and he said he witnessed, quote, several of these muscular lizard-like beings that were standing upright in the chamber, each wearing a type of unrecognizable uniform and speaking a strange language. Appearing unaware of his presence, the investigator was able to make a quick exit out of the cave. It couldn't have been that quick at 164 feet down, but he got out of there alive, as the story goes. Okay, so what exactly did he encounter down there? That was actually, this incident was given to me as a blind coordinate remote viewing target. We're going to discuss that, as well as the devil creature, as they call it, of Song Doong Cave in Vietnam. We're going to look at those pictures as well tonight, and get all this juicy data for you guys. To help me do that, I have my good friends, Jane and Gerald Fountain of Midwest Night Watchers and Shiro Sounds. Let me bring them up first. We have, oh, hold on, beautiful Jane. Hey, Jane.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
And of course, we have Gerald of Midwest Night Watchers as well. What's up, Gerald?
What's going on?
Who's that? Thank you for being here. It's so good to see y'all.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And we also have Dr. John Stamey here with us tonight of Bigfoot and Company and Scary Cast.
Hi, Dr. John.
Hey.
Hey, John. John is one of our resident experts on Lizardman and lizard people. Right, John?
I guess I am. I've got that book, Lizardman Companion, which I wrote during the period where I was running the Lizardman Festival in Bishopville. It's got an interview with an older interview, but an important interview with Lyle Blackburn. It also has copies of all of the newspaper stories that were published. There were 14 of them published about the Lizardman in the county newspaper. And it's an important historical book. It goes along with Lyle Blackburn's book about the Lizardman is probably two very authoritative books about the Lizardman sightings in Bishopville, which were very real. And I've got witnesses about them, and I interviewed them, and it's just a really interesting time in Bishopville, South Carolina, which is about an hour out of Columbia down I-20. And it's just a very interesting thing that happened. And then it was very strange. Cody and I were doing caricatures at the Florence Comic-Con. And this lady came up with her two sons, grown lady, grown two sons. And I said, so where are you folks from? And she said, Bishopville. I said, do you know about the Lizardman? And they told me an incredible story about the Lizardman. And I got their number, and the number, of course, was disconnected. But, I wish if they hear this broadcast, please give me a call back, because it's very, very interesting, the stories that we have. Lizardman is a fascinating topic, especially the location of Bishopville, which is right along the edge of Shaw Air Force Base. Wow, my goodness. We'll leave that for a show about the Lizardman. How about that, Jessica?
Well, I think that's interesting that you kind of giggled about that a little bit, because some of these targets, I have these two targets tonight of reptilian humanoids. And I got to say, I know that on at least one of them, there is heavy military involvement. Okay. And
really? My goodness.
There is heavy, deep underground military bases and all that. And I can't wait to get to it tonight, because I think there is some kind of a connection sometimes with some of these reptilians, and even maybe potentially the secret space programs and Space Force. Who knows? We talked about that 3-Eye Atlas. Jane and Gerald, y'all remember we've done a couple shows on 3-Eye Atlas, and my data for that remote viewing target had a lot to do with reptilians. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah, we did the frogmen from Loveland and Mexico.
Yeah, we did.
That rumor has that AI Atlas is coming back.
What?
It's circling around. It's circling the block.
Or 3-Eye Atlas, not AI Atlas.
3-Eye Atlas. It might be AI Atlas.
And you mentioned Frogman. I believe I was on that show, wasn't I?
Yep, yes, you were.
You were. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you were. Well, okay. Well, let's okay. I think let's talk about the Austrian lizard people first. Okay, I think that's going to be a great way to start the show off tonight, because this is a really strange one. And I think the person who gave me this as a target wasn't sure if this was real or not. And because it was on Reddit, I think the story was found on Reddit, I believe, and had been all over the internet. And some of the links, a lot of the pages were missing. Okay, to where some of the original information came from, let's just say. And that happens, you know what I mean? But right. but we were able to find, I was able to find personally a good bit of information, and the actual testimony of the man who encountered these reptiles.
Is that Gregor?
Gregor, yes. His name is Gregor. And so I can probably read from that tonight, actually, and go over that. I'll give a little summary though first. Okay, so this is going to be the first target tonight. This is okay. Let me just read the summary first. Okay, as a specialist in cave systems investigator in Austria, the Czech Republic, and Poland, Gregor, all we have is Gregor, reported encountering a reptilian creature in the ancient salt mines of northern Austria in May of 2011. He was about 50 meters or 164 feet underground collecting cave samples for study when he began hearing strange voices nearby. He paused and listened, but the voices suddenly stopped. Dismissing it, Gregor continued further into the cave until he entered a chamber filled with a foul, rotting smell. As he turned to leave, the voices returned, and when he glanced back, he saw that the dark chamber was now illuminated by several lights. To his shock, Gregor saw the several muscular, lizard-like beings were now standing upright in the chamber, each seemingly wearing some sort of uniform. Their tails swayed behind them as they conversed in a language he could not understand, though it vaguely resembled human speech. These things had tails. The creatures appeared unaware of his presence, allowing him to quickly exit the cave and make his way back to the surface. All right, now that's weird. And so the backstory is this guy is a scientist. Basically, he went down there to go get some samples. It didn't say who exactly he works for, but he's supposed to have some kind of credentials. But I'm thinking like 164 feet down, that's pretty deep down into a cave, especially to go by yourself. And I don't know a whole lot about caves. I just know I don't like caves very much. But it's kind of odd, don't you think, going down there by himself? But I mean, maybe that's what scientists do that work in caves. I don't know.
I don't know about that, Jessica. That just seems a little suspect to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends if he's an archaeologist or if he's a geologist. I mean, I wonder what he was down there for. Studying the rocks, the
taking samples.
Stalactites.
He was taking samples. They said taking samples. He was scraping things off the wall. Actually, I'm going to get into his testimony here in just a second. He's talking about how he's like chipping pieces off of the walls. He was in a salt mine. And as a matter of fact, I think I may have some pictures there. Salt mines, there's actually one very popular salt mine in Austria. I'm sure there's more, but I have some pictures here of what it looks like inside a salt mine. Now, I know as conspiracy theorists have heard, and we've discussed that the Himalayan salt is probably from the body of a Titan giant. Okay.
Oh, I was going to bring that up, but this is regular salt or is this Himalayan salt mine?
It's supposed to be just regular salt.
Okay.
But it does look, I mean, it could be Himalayan, but I think it's just regular salt.
I think the lights are just making it glow.
Yeah. They probably just had some mood lighting down there. I mean, it's actually really pretty. This is a weird picture. What these people are sliding down into the mine. I kept finding all these pictures of people going down into the mine and they were sliding and like it just looks fun. Also very dangerous.
Yeah. That reminds me when we climbed the old bridge and we're on top and we had to slide down the girders holding on to the sides.
Oh gosh. That's terrifying. And those people actually look like they're having a lot of fun though. So it's not, it looks like they've done that before. But anyways, there's a big mine. And let's see, I have it on my other computer here. The Austrian salt mines, that mine that I was just showing you guys. Let's see, I'm trying to see its name here. I want to say Hallstatt, maybe. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that. The Hallstatt salt mines in Austria. I'm not sure if that's where this man was. But that's a big salt mine. When you look up salt mines in Austria, that's pretty much the only one that comes up. Okay. So it could be that he was there, but it's very touristy. A lot of tourists go there and stuff. And I don't think if there's something super secret, I don't think they'd let tourists go there. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not sure. So
a good observation, Jessica.
Yeah, you think so. But also we're going to be looking into the Vietnam cave. and tourists go there. And if I remember correctly, I do believe that some of the tourists go missing from there sometimes, and they do say they think the reptilians are taking them.
It's probably what the foul smell is.
Ooh, yeah. Well, that's what's going on down in this Austrian salt mine, was that foul smell. And it was followed by the reptilians down below. All right. Well, maybe I should just read from what this man's testimony was. Okay, we'll read the whole bit. Okay, so he said that he lives in Gmunden, Austria. And he said, recently I came across your story about a man this is a letter that he wrote, okay, who had an encounter with an alien-type creature in a cave in the U.S. The story is similar to my encounter in an obscure cave here in Upper Austria. This area is known for salt mining and Stalkamergut, whatever that is, and the salt mines of the former Habsburg Empire. I am a trained and certified geologist. I studied at the University of Salzburg and in the United States at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I have explored and documented cave systems throughout Austria, Czech Republic, and Poland since 1988. In May of 2011, I was in a narrow cave that a colleague had recently found. This was approximately 2 kilometers north of Obertron, on the opposite side of the descending mountain range in the foothills near the east bank of Halsatter Sea Lake. That's what that mine was I just showed y'all. Okay, so that's probably where he was then. As I moved through the difficult passageway, I started to hear voices emanating from the darkness ahead of me. I stopped to collect a few samples from the cave wall, chipping it with my pick. I moved deeper, maybe 50 meters, until I noticed the voices again. I'm familiar with echoes and Doppler effect sounds in caves, but this was totally different. I stood quietly for several minutes until the voices stopped. Again, I moved through the cave, almost crawling at this point. After another 40 meters, I ascended into a chamber that was big enough to accommodate several people. There were 2 wide openings on the opposite sides of the chamber, and each looked like it has been, turn the page, excavated by machine. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
By machine. Okay. There was also an obvious rotting odor. As I examined the chamber, I noticed an odd red iridescence as I passed the light over the rock floor. I wonder if it was blood. Yeah. When I knelt down to collect a sample, I again heard voices coming from one of the passageways. At this point, I was terrified and started to hurry back through the narrow cave. After I squeezed back several meters, I was able to turn my head just enough to look back at the dark chamber. A yellow light slowly made its way into the chamber from the left opening in the chamber. Then there were several yellow lights following the first. As the lights moved through the opening into the chamber, then back through the opening on the right, I was able to see the beings. The sight sent fear through my body. I was actually paralyzed. The creatures were humanoid in stature, but they were not human. Each varied in height, but all looked the same. Muscular lizards that walked upright like humans. There is not a better term that I could use to identify these beings. The creatures wore dark-colored full-body uniforms that extended and covered the feet. I couldn't tell the exact color of the skin, but each had a pronounced muzzle. The long tails were very prominent and swiftly swayed back and forth as they moved forward. The arms and legs were massive. I could detect the musculature through the uniforms. There were voices also as if they were talking to each other. The voices actually sounded human, though I could not detect the language. There were possibly 20 or more of these creatures as they walked single file through the chamber and into the opening. When I convinced myself it was safe to move, I quickly withdrew from the cave. I think I may have been in shock because I barely remember anything that happened from that point until I reached my office. Or maybe he got abducted and got mind wiped. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. He said, but that's what happens when you experience trauma. You don't remember. It's like your brain his brain was probably just get him out of this fight or flight. You know what I mean?
What were the yellow lights? Were they glowing, or did they have lights on their heads or on their uniforms?
Or was it their eyes?
Or their eyes. Yeah. The article didn't really say what the yellow glowing was.
It did not say, it does not specify what the yellow glow is, but I mean, I actually have pictures from last weekend when I was in Uwharrie, North Carolina, was that almost 2 weeks ago now, But I was in Uwari, and we have pictures. Now my pictures, I showed one picture on my show, I think, of the eye glow, and we had upon further examination, the eye glow in my pictures is green. Okay, it's actually got a green tint. Keith's has orange tint. Some of those have orange tint, and on mine, my camera's kind of not as good as the other guys. I have really expensive, nice cameras, and you can see two eyes, but on mine it looks like one orb, but it's actually two eyes. But my camera's not that good, and so, but it was eye glow, and it was bright. I mean, it was literally as bright as a flashlight would have been out there.
Golly.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if what he saw was eye glow from these reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Okay, well, I've got a little bit more to read on this, and we'll get to the data. It says, when I conceived it was safe to move, I quickly withdrew from the cave. He was in shock because he couldn't remember anything until he reached, from the time he left till he got to his office. And I decided to keep a private journal regarding my encounter, but I have not discussed it with anyone else. My colleagues who originally found the cave told me that he explored the cave since my encounter, but never mentions anything about the chamber, other passageways, or bizarre beings. I think that he should have told his colleague, probably. You know what I mean? At this point in time, I'm starting to doubt that I witnessed these creatures. It's possible that I hallucinated this encounter, he says, or possibly experienced something from the past or the future, ? Which is really interesting. I am a trained professional who deals with reality, but my beliefs have been seriously shaken. I appreciate your introspective thoughts as well as observation by your readers. Thank you, Gregor. Okay. That's wild. That is so wild. There's a lot to unpack there, actually. And yes, that is one job that I can mark off the list of never doing. I will not be a cave exploring, salt mine sampling person. Never. I just won't. But anyway, so that's the most information that I was given on this. Okay. After the target, I actually wasn't given that. I had to go find it. So I don't know. Does y'all have any thoughts before we get to the data and stuff? What do y'all think about that? Do you think that he dreamed that?
I don't. That's another question. I mean, could there have been gases down there, or maybe it's real? I mean, we've talked many times about the reptilians under Mount Shasta, under LA. I mean, there's all kinds of stories of reptilians having cities and bases. So why not in Austria in a cave?
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, they're all over. I mean, caves are all over the world, of course. And my question is, like, how many missing people are in that area? Is there a missing persons cluster around there?
Oh,
well, that's a good point, Jessica. And we ought to take a look at that when we have a chance, because it's like, David Pilates and his missing 411. There's so many missing people in and around the Mammoth Caves in Southwest Virginia and northern Western Virginia. So there's just a lot of them, and it's and I've learned this from John Price of Alabama MUFON. Data can sometimes be the most important predictor of is this true or is it not? And if there are if there's some real data that indicates suspicious activity or a lot of missing persons, then you can chalk up his experience to probably true.
Yeah.
And that's what John's going to be at the Western North Carolina Comic-Con. Good guy. He's a real scientist, and he's a big believer in data. And I am too, because data doesn't lie. Data points do not lie.
I love me some data. I do. I also love personal experiences as well. And Ray Mosley is in the chat. Thank you, Ray, for your comment tonight. He says, I went spelunking here in East Tennessee, one of my favorite spots to research, by the way. Ghost hunting was my reason. There was certainly, I wonder if you were at the Bell Witch Cave. I don't know this over. I think that's more towards the middle of the state, but I don't remember.
It is. It's west of Clarksville.
Okay.
Which is up there kind of northeast of Nashville. When you talk to Elijah, he's given me a pretty good idea where it is. It's like 50 miles west of Clarksville. So that makes the Bell Witch area, kind of almost directly north
Mhm.
of Nashville.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, John. Okay, so Ray says there was certainly something else following me and my friend. It seemed to really zap our energy, not just our batteries out of, but our bodies as well. We never seen whatever it was, but you could feel it.
Mm.
Ooh,
my.
there's nothing worse than being just in the caves, y'all. It's just creepy, so creepy. Um, but yeah, and knowing the reptilian thing that's going on down there, let me show some pictures real quick. Let's show a map of all the caves in the United States that we have over here. Now, this is actually the map of the cave systems or on the bottom. The blue areas are the caves systems, and in the top map are the missing persons clusters. That's from 2012, y'all. That's the old map. However, it kind of looks like they line up a little bit. And so I'm showing this as an example from the United States because I'm thinking my educated guess would be that maybe it's the same in Europe as well. Wherever they have caves, they may have a lot of missing people, but maybe not. Maybe it's just the U.S. that people go missing over the cave systems.
Oh, I don't believe that at all, Jessica.
Yeah.
I bet it's worldwide.
Has to be.
Mm.
Yeah. I'd like to see a report on that, or get some kind of data on that, actually.
And and you've showed it before, and those cave systems and the missing people and the Bigfoot and cryptid maps all align with each other also, and military bases.
Well, now, Jessica, and I want to bring this up because this is maybe stealing a little bit of John Price's thunder for his talk at Western North Carolina Comic-Con, but he's got several bands of UFO sightings that are pretty convincing and grouped, and we'll be able to talk to John when we're at the Comic-Con because that's part of his talk, and it's really interesting. He says there's a UFO corridor in western Alabama where you can see almost like a crescent moon of sightings. And it's really interesting, the data that he's got. And it was, as I said, you don't mess with that data because data can tell you a lot.
Actually, I do know on the more of the eastern side of the state is the troop herd corridor that goes through Alabama. And that is a place that is known for, it's a hotspot of not only UFO sightings, cryptid sightings as well, but mass UFO alien abductions with military involvement, John.
Right. He was excited because that western Alabama occurrence is kind of near where he lives. And he was just excited that he found one over there. But, we can address that to him in the question and answer session after his talk. And I'll let him know that we're going to talk to him about the troop herd corridor. And I just think that's going to give some real life and some real interest to one of the talks there at the Western North Carolina Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I want to mention this comment right here. Thank you, Max. Okay, Max, life, love, and learning. Okay, the elite. This is something that a lot of us have said, and it's kind of a conspiracy theory to some people, but they say the elite have a contract with the reptilians to let them have certain amount of humans for food per year. Facts, public records, believe it or not. Google it, fam. We need to Google that. I've heard that before. I mean, we've also heard about there's been, some kind of agreements for the aliens, the extraterrestrials, to take humans and abduct them for experimentation and things as well. Yeah. Feels like our government doesn't like us. Yeah. How long is the contract? I think it was
up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to get Laura Eisenhower on the show. That's what I need to do. It's supposed to be her great grandfather actually was said to have made some deals, I think. But
Right.
yeah, she's got her opinions on that though. Okay, and she's got what she knows from her family. So it'd be cool to hear that from her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard conspiracy rumors that the contracts may be almost up.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So
Well, I
then
hope
what?
they're almost up because there's a lot of people getting abducted by aliens and stuff, and
Yeah,
going to
but
all these UFO conferences and stuff. We hear about it all the time.
if the deal's up, does that mean that they can free range and take as many as they want, where the contract limited them to only so many?
Don't know.
Is that why they're starting to reveal more and say, hey, there might be aliens up there on 3i Atlas, just to let us know now? Don't know.
Oh my gosh. Well, they are being seen. Okay, they are making themselves seen a little bit more. I have been warned about reptilians. Somebody sent me a video one day, and he was like, "If you hear this noise," and I had a sound of. Apparently, it was a reptilian in somebody's backyard, and it was kind of hiding around behind their fence. And he said, "If you hear this, it's either too late or you know." He's like, "Shoot!" I say, "Shoot him."
Was it like a clicking?
Protect yourself.
Sound?
Yeah.
Yes.
Flipping?
Yeah, it sounded like, I mean, if I can find the video, I'll put it on my social media because it was going over social media for a while, but people weren't sure what it was. But he sent me a message. He's like, "That's 100% a reptilian." He's like, "If you hear this, it's probably too late." You know,
Well, I've heard that with grays also.
Ooh,
Or the clicking.
it sounded just like what you think a reptilian would sound like, y'all. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
The movies aren't too far off.
No, they're not. No, it's really wild, isn't it? Okay. All right. Well, let's get into this data then, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is for the salt mine incident that happened in 2011. And this was given to me as a blind coordinate. I got a set of coordinates, and it turned out to be this incident. Whatever was down in that cave, whatever he experienced in that cave is the target. Okay, so let's get into this. This is very interesting. I only have 2 pages of data for this, but it pretty much packs a punch, though. Okay, so some of my sensory data or whatever these, he said there were 20. Right. And I would think, okay, here's my opinion. I'm going to give my opinion before I get to my data. Okay, it's just like with a lot of these cases. Like I know there's been like Dogman cases where people were allegedly ripped apart and stuff. And there's like somebody will come forward and be like, "Oh, well, I was there too." And I'm like, I don't know. Because if there's bloodthirsty animals like that out there and they smell your fear, they're going to come at you too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just animal instinct.
Or Jessica, or if they just smell you or smell your blood. I mean, and that's what bothers me about the famous Dogman encounter up at the park near Elijah Henderson up in the Land Between the Lakes. There was a gentleman. Do you remember the story of the family of 4 that got ripped apart by the Dogman?
I do.
Right.
Well, there's a claimant that says he was also there, and he hid in the trail in the camper where the woman and the daughter were, and he saw the Dogman kill them. Well, I don't know that I believe that, because had he done so, the Dogman would have smelled him and would have gotten him just as well. And I've always, I'm glad you brought this up, because, and I need to talk to Elijah about this, because I believe if he had been there inside that camper and saw this massacre, that he would have been killed too. So, I mean, that's just what I kind of pieced together, and that's assisted by a little bit of what you just said. So, and that's what, I guess that's a good thing. That's a good reason to have these shows, so that we can kind of listen to what other people have to say, and maybe it'll shed some light on some of these other stories like that one just did for me. So thank you.
Yes. I can't disagree with you, John. I actually, when I remote viewed that case a long time ago,
You talking about the Land Between the Lakes?
Land Between the Lakes, the attack, I do believe, per the data, I do believe that did happen. I had detected 4 people in the environment, and not 5. So it doesn't mean that person wasn't there, but they were not in the environment when I was remote viewing it.
Well, then you have just shed another light on this, because I did not believe that gentleman's part of the story, and now he's not to be found. He won't talk, and I'll talk to Elijah about that, and I'll let you this week, and I'll make a note about that, and we'll discuss.
It's just interesting, I don't want to ruffle feathers, make anybody mad. Okay. But that was just the data. Okay. So I try to keep I try to keep my opinions out of things, but I don't. I also give my opinion sometimes. And I have voiced that I'm not sure if I believe there was a 5th person there, but I don't know, because I wasn't there, and my data is just data. Okay?
Right.
It's just data.
See, I thought I heard that he was underneath the trailer. The camper.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was underneath, not inside.
Yeah.
Well,
I just feel like they smell the fear. You know what I mean?
well, they
So,
can smell. I mean, they've got good fear. They're animals. I mean, I'm sorry, they've
Yeah.
got good scent. They're animals. They can smell. You know, it's like if there's a pot of spaghetti on in the next room, we can smell it. You know, it's fact.
yes.
So I'm
Unless we
writing
have
this
a
down.
cold. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to the data for this one. Okay, because this is really wild. I think it's if this really happened, I think it's a miracle that man got out alive. And how did he get out of there if he didn't? I mean, if he had to turn on his headlamp to see to get out, I mean, the caves are dark, y'all. Okay,
Yeah.
they're super dark. He said that he crawled.
20 reptilians around him, and he's in there, first of all, probably stomping around, not being quiet, chipping away on rocks. So they had to hear him or send a vibration.
And smell them.
And smell them.
Yes. Yes. I had a pet snake for a long time, and the snake picked up on vibrations. Okay. And I'm not saying that the reptiles are really, they're reptiles, reptilians, right?
Right.
And they would pick up on like heartbeat and, you know, just pounding on the floor when you're walking or crawling or whatever. They would pick up on this, but I don't know. Let's get to the data and see what the data says.
All right.
Okay. So for some of the sensory data for this target, okay, I have level, below, placed, housed, living, sneaky, secretive, dark, sharp, pointy, and organized. That was my sensory data. Okay, now for my analytic overlay, this is very interesting. I wrote faction and fraction, structured, organized, below deck, underground, deep underground military base, DUMB, living quarters, off limits, and I put in parentheses, general public, secret space program, SSP, bad connection, pointy sticks. I wrote pointy sticks.
Pointy sticks.
Pointy sticks, guns, weapons, warfare, war room, calculated operation.
Wow.
And then for my sketch, I do like a stage 3 drawing, and it looks like I was clearly seeing night vision equipment. And so I drew, or like I was seeing like nods, like something that, or like a monocular that's like a night vision or a FLIR or something. And so that's what I drew, was like a picture of that. So it was like something that you see in the dark with, basically. But it was like, it was kind of, I was getting a lot of military data for that. And I don't know. I find that very interesting. Okay. So it's not like I picked up on any kind of reptilians or anything, but I did pick up on military stuff so far. I still got more data. What are y'all, do y'all have any thoughts on this so far?
Remember what I told you about a week or so ago, and we were talking about the cyanin, the contacts? If they're just now releasing this stuff to the public, they've had it for years. And I bet these cryptids that have been manipulated or lab created or whatever you want to call it, have those type of eyes or contacts built in, and they can see outside. And that might be some of the red glowing everyone's seeing, or other different colors. Just a thought.
Also, the super soldiers, let's just say super soldiers. I mean, they've been working on perfecting super soldiers for centuries now. We talked about the Billywhack Dairy and the Billywhack Monster, the Goatmen. I just did a show on Goatmen yesterday and talked about that. But that was back in the 1920s. They were doing human animal hybrid experiments for super soldiers with the OSS.
Right. They've mastered it by now.
They've mastered it by now. So anything that they are creating, if there was a dome or some kind of lab or something down there, you know that whatever's down there, if it's made by, I hate to say government, but some kind of factions in my data, it could be secret space program. It could just be reptilians down there. Right. It could be a reptilian faction.
Could be a mixture of both. We don't know if there was actually military human soldiers mixed in with the reptilians when he saw them, and what kind of uniforms were they wearing. We don't have a description necessarily of the uniform either. It'd be nice to see what kind of insignia or patches or were they just suits to allow them to live in the caves.
Spandex. It was spandex.
Spandex lizards.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
It was some kind of technologically advanced spandex suit. They said it covered the feet. whatever that means. So
Reminds me of the onesies we used to
Yeah, I
have
was
for
just gonna say,
Christmas.
onesie.
yeah.
Onesies, lizards and onesies.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I find it very interesting, and of course, Max Life was like talking about how the reptilians have made a pact with the government or somebody to
Mhm.
feed. Some of these missing people could be being sent down there and being fed to whatever these are. Maybe that's why that room had a red floor and it smelled bad, like rotting meat or whatever. It said something rotting. That's what they said. So there's a lot going on there, and the data suggests there is some kind of secret space program, something going on. I mean, reptilians could very well be part of the secret space program. I've had testimony from survivors of the programs say that they have been punished by reptilians. They have been made to be slaves by the reptilians, and they're at these deep underground military bases. Okay.
Wow.
Well,
So-
they see Dog Man with uniforms and stuff also. I think they're
Yes.
creating super soldiers out of maybe all of them, all the different cryptids.
Mhm. Yes. Or they could have they may have their own little reptilian base down there, so okay, well, I'm going to go to the second page of data because this is really interesting. I'd mentioned that I was getting I started seeing when I made that drawing, I was seeing, I call them nods. Like there's like different night vision equipment and stuff that enables you to see in the dark perfectly. Okay. And if you guys have probably all seen on TV, like the soldiers that will wear the helmets and they pull the little glasses down in front of them that come
Right.
down from their helmets. That's what I was seeing. Okay. And so I wrote infrared device, FLIR, hidden. I've got bunker, apocalypse, and tunnel. Okay, that's what I wrote down. I was definitely, because I'd gotten that deep underground military base data. I wrote my environment. What I was seeing around me was like an underground facility, deep underground military base, something militant. A lot of military data. I wrote bunker, apocalypse, and tunnels. And I was seeing my tangibles were like controls, electronics, machinery, and weapons. It was very industrial. And I wrote comms room, like a communications room with some. I remember what I was seeing was like, it would have been something that would have been down in a bunker, or like some kind of control base or like a headquarters or something where they were doing like super secret weird stuff with the military or something. I don't know. I can only tell you what I understand. I obviously don't understand a whole lot, but some kind of comms room. And then I wrote, okay, so this is interesting. The last two things I wrote, first of all, I was very cold wherever I was at. It made my body cold and I was getting goosebumps on my body. And the last two things I wrote were Montauk Project and Camp Hero Vibe.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Montauk Project and Camp Hero Vibe. So it doesn't mean I was there, but I was getting a vibe like that's what was going on there, wherever I was at. And so that includes deep underground facilities and all sorts of weird experimentation going on and all that. Okay. Maybe even mind control.
Jessica, excuse me real quick. Did you say something about coldness?
Yes, I did. I was
Okay.
cold. Yeah. Yes. When I was remote viewing, I was very cold. I actually wrote it down.
Okay.
But that's normal. I get cold when I'm remote viewing. It's just part of it. But I felt like the environment around me was cold. Whatever I was remote viewing was very cold, and it was deep underground. And so, okay, so there's no data about straight up reptilians on here that I think. I think this data is more of there's something. It's almost like a facility down there, and I don't know. I'm not saying he didn't see these, these lizardmen or whatever he saw. It's not in the data, and that's what the target was. But there's definitely some kind of underground facility down there for sure.
I wonder what the language was. So if this scientist, I'm assuming very educated, I wonder if he knows multiple languages or was it an undetected language that he absolutely would not be able to identify?
Or
So
is
could it be somebody from another country down there? Could it be aliens, reptilians that talk different? I mean, that's something to look into, I think.
Yes, that's true. And you mentioned earlier, Gerald, you were like, well, maybe he was. He said that maybe he was hallucinating, right? and maybe he was, or maybe there's some kind of technology down there too. Even if it's ET technology, there's some kind of technology that makes you see different things, or I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. It is beyond my comprehension. What's down there, but I honestly did not pick up on any kind of reptilians down there. But I did pick up on a lot of military stuff and probably secret space program as well.
Wow. Yeah, I wonder what they're doing down there. They're obviously not mining salt. They got to be doing something.
Or maybe they are mining salt and having these other operations.
Yes.
Could be.
Yeah. Apparently, I stumbled on something I wasn't supposed to see probably down there. So, and I probably shouldn't be talking about it on YouTube, but that's all good. Whatever. So yeah. So that is that target. And I find it super interesting, and yeah, it just says it's off limits to the general public, wherever he was, whatever this target was, and where warfare, weapons, all that, a calculated operation. So just don't go poking your nose where you're not supposed to go poking your nose. Apparently down there, and there could be reptilians down there that are part of the secret space programs.
Who knows?
Could be.
And how far down do the tunnels actually go, and how many tunnels are connected across the whole region? I wonder. Just like the U.S., we always talk about that.
Oh yeah. Well, he said that he was 164. No, hold on, 492 feet.
Yeah, it was 150 meters or something, right?
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yes, it was 100 and. Hold on, I've got too many notes here. 164 feet. Yes, 164 feet. And I don't think I show these pictures of the caves. Let's see. Oh, here's in the United States, just to give you an idea of how deep the caves go. And I know we had mentioned the Mammoth Cave. I can't remember if I showed this earlier, but look at that. Look, Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, y'all, 405 miles long.
I bet it's more than that.
That's wild. I had
That's
no
right,
idea.
Jane. I agree with you.
Yeah, because I don't think they're telling us the truth about anything. So I bet it's longer.
It probably is. And then the next longest is, what is that, in Mexico? I guess. And then we got the third longest is the United States. So the U.S. and Mexico, basically, the Ukraine. I guess. I don't know.
A lot of U.S. flags on there.
It is. It's on there a bunch. Okay. Well, anyways, those are the longest caves, and now we're gonna go to the biggest cave in the world. This is the largest cave. It's not the deepest, but it's the largest, they say.
Oh, wow.
And this is out of Vietnam. And if you guys will recall, I had Jimmy Payne on the show about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we were talking about the real island of Dr. Moreau, which is right off the coast of Vietnam. He actually showed me where he thinks it is, one of those little islands over there. So that was an interesting show. I did not remote view that, by the way, but it still is very interesting. And okay. All right. Well, let's get on to this one then. Okay. So this is what is this called? The Doong Cave. Sung Dong Cave. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But this is in Vietnam. And Dr. John, you know a little bit, you know a lot bit about this cave. We have talked about it before. You've actually talked about it on the show with all 4 of us here before. What do you know about this cave, John?
Okay, what I know is there's a very charming psychic lady up in Toronto. I cannot recall her name. And she told me this story on Scarycast forever ago about her father, who was a soldier in Vietnam. And he was in a group, and they went out in the jungles and they found enemies and everything else. And he was told on this one special day, it was pouring down rain, and he and his group were told, whatever you see, do not tell. You cannot tell. And they went out and they actually found a lizard person and followed the lizard person to the Sundong Cave. And the lizard person went inside and they followed him because they had about 30 men Each one of them had, tough artillery to go in with. And so they got in there. They couldn't really find the lizard, but they got in there, and then all of a sudden it's like they heard noises all around them. And they took up a flare, and lo and behold, they were surrounded by lizard people.
Mm.
Oh.
So what they did is they took their guns and shot the hell out of them. Pardon my grammar, Jessica. They tore them up. They killed them. And what happened is they came back the next day, and all of the bodies were gone.
Mm.
Oh.
They
Now,
got drugged back down, I guess.
He only told this after he was retired from the military.
Wow.
So that's a story that I believe to be true.
Hmm.
And it's like, I don't know. Yeah. And then, anthropologists and archaeologists and things came back into the cave and found it to be huge. It's so high that it even has a little bit of its own atmosphere. You can see clouds up there. Yeah, it's huge.
Clouds?
Yeah,
Oh,
in other words, okay, it's like the Salisbury Cathedral in England is so tall, there are misty clouds at the top of the ceiling. There really are. I've seen them before. I've been to Salisbury, saw it. I didn't believe it, but I believe it now. And yes, when you can get some inside atmosphere, we would call it, you can see some light clouds and things like that. So that's just a story I've heard about the Sundong Caves. I've heard it's frightening. It's terrible. It's frightening. And, even though they let tourists go in, I'm not going in.
I'd go in, I guess, because I'm the cryptid huntress. I gotta go. Okay.
I'll go some other dangerous places, but that's one place, because I've written the book, The Lizardman Companion. Lizardman and Dogman terrify me. They just do.
Well, you know what I do? I go set up a hammock in the middle of the woods, right where the dogmen live. Okay. And listen, if I have the cryptid warfare guys with me, I'm safe. Okay. I'm safe. We're all safe. We'll be fine. And maybe we'll take us a trip to this Songdong cave or whatever it's called. And so, okay, well, this cave, it's got an interesting history because it was, I think they found it. Somebody just kind of came across it, right, John? And it was back in.
Well, the military did, and then they didn't go back. And then some other, just people exploring caves found it several years later. But they corroborated the story with the military.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Let's see.
Like 1984 or something.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds right. Now, this story from the military would have been from the late 60s, the Vietnam War era.
Okay. Well, at some point, somebody went in there. We'll get into some more of the history in just a minute. But at some point, somebody was in there taking pictures, and this picture right here emerged onto the scene. And and I have some blown up close up shots of this, because and this is what the remote viewing target is, y'all, is this picture, whatever's in this picture. And I'm going to I'll show you some other shots that we're going to kind of do a close up here. And people believe that what we're looking at on the screen right now is a reptilian humanoid being.
That's a lizard man, right?
That's the lizard man. Yes. Let's see. I think that's a little bit closer. It looks like it has really white teeth.
Wow.
That picture right there reminds me of from the movies, The Gargoyles, where they were in the caves and they looked just like that kind of.
Ew.
Whatever it is creepy.
Can you imagine being Christopher Davies and stopping off to change a tire in the middle of Scape Swamp near Bishopville and seeing that come running toward you in your car? Oh, dear God, that would be frightening.
Oh, it'd be horrible. It would.
Ew.
There's a better shot of it right there, actually. That looks pretty good. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It does kind of look like that character out of Stranger Things, the season 5 Vecta or whatever his name was. Kind of looks like him a little bit.
Or bad
And,
mushroom trip.
It looks like something. Okay, well, this is what the remote viewing target is. And so we are going to really get into this one tonight. So the Songdong Cave, discovered in 1995, was initially so vast that it couldn't be explored in its entirety. It stands 492 feet tall, 656 feet wide, and it stretches 6.5 kilometers or 4 miles long.
Wow.
Yeah, the cave was open to the public for tours back in 2013. And since then, multiple reports have surfaced describing bizarre creatures lurking in the cave's depths. In January 2015, video and photos emerged of what it showed what people believe is a reptilian creature, which you guys just saw. And they captured that in the cave. The footage was taken by a visitor who described the creature as a devil creature.
Oh,
Ew. Those
good
pictures
reason.
look different. Yeah. Ew.
Yeah. And with a humanoid body and a face resembling a dragon or lizard.
oh,
The sighting is particularly intriguing when considered alongside a report from another's account from the American military unit stationed near these caves in South Vietnam during 1970. And John, you have talked about that. And so the report stated that a 7-foot tall upright lizard humanoid was seen near the cave entrance. The military unit fired on the creature, but it appeared to escape without injury. As no remains or traces of a wound were found, the soldier, who wished to remain anonymous, revealed that his unit never received a debrief on the encounter, which led him to suspect that it was either concealed or never reported. I would say it's probably concealed.
right.
That's my guess. But
It's
But
interesting that military keeps coming up with these reptilians deep in the caves.
Yeah.
it sure does.
And they
It
got
sure does.
visitors down in that cave also.
Say that again. Could you
said
repeat
they have
that?
tours? They have tours down there also.
They do.
Yes.
Do they warn their visitors there's no refund on their tickets?
There's no refund.
Well, how
You have
they
to sign
going
the
to
waiver.
ask for a refund when they're on a buffet table down there?
Oh my gosh. They're what's for dinner, Jane. They're
Yeah.
what's for dinner. Yeah.
So if their tails fall off, do they grow back?
Oh, that's a good question too. I don't know.
That's what lizards
don't-
do. Yeah.
I don't want to stick around to find out. I don't know. That's wild. Yeah, they do. They actually do. Lizards' tails do grow back.
So I wonder if you pull a reptilian's tail off, if it grows back or not.
We know that would actually be really interesting as far as a super soldier creation goes. If they're trying to regenerate body parts, it's like something out of a sci-fi
yeah.
movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, I have heard of the government or scientists working on that technology
Wow.
to grow limbs back.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, maybe they're getting it from the reptilians. I don't know. But okay. Well, okay, so this is the remote viewing target right here. This lovely guy right here, this little creature, or the big creature.
With white teeth.
With the white teeth. There he is, kind of hiding back there. That's scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's creepy.
That's very creepy. Okay, well, let's get to the data. Let's get to the data for this. And
Looks like a clown. You don't have any clown in your data, do you?
no,
Looks
I
more
don't think so.
clown-like than reptilian.
I don't know. There's a lot of black data, something very dark and black. And I think it's interesting because that picture is so, it's like black and white. Yeah. So yeah, I was definitely picking up on that during this target. Okay. So some of my sensory data for this, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not pulling up all the comments tonight because I've got it kind of, first of all, my computer, something's wrong with the comments. They're not showing up. They're like 5 minutes behind.
It's not your computer, it's StreamYard. Ours is behind you and then it flies. Yeah, it's StreamYard tonight.
You'll have 20 of them fly by you all of a sudden.
Yes, I know. Well, I just looked down at my phone. Thank you, Haley Hampton. I see that super sticker. Thank you. It's not showing up on my StreamYard here, but I can see it. I have my phone down here watching. So I just want to let y'all know that's why I'm not pulling up comments tonight. And I thank you so much, Haley. If I can, I'm going to pull that up in just a minute. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to our data. Y'all, Haley, you're the best. I appreciate you. Okay, so the sensory data is linear, sharp, dark black, shiny, ruined, scared, and malevolent. Ooh, malevolent.
Oh, it looks
Okay.
malevolent.
They'll eat you, probably. All right, so my analytic overlay for this target is colorblind, darked out, matte black, Fanta black. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of black. And bad news, hives, accounted for, binged out, fringe theory, homeless. Could that be a homeless person?
Homeless.
I don't think so, but I don't know. Homeless is in my data.
Doesn't seem right.
It doesn't. Well, I also got hives. It could be a reptilian hive down there too. So
Right.
okay, but homeless, kicked out, snake, reptile, serpent,
Oh.
cobra venom, and Marvel venom. Like Marvel venom, Marvel, like from I guess it's from the movies, Venom movies.
Oh, right.
It's a Marvel character. So I wrote Marvel venom. And actually my drawing is a snake. Okay, I said terrible, y'all don't make fun of my drawing, okay? But I drew a snake, okay? And so I was definitely picking up on something that was a reptile, 100% down there. But I did write cobra as well. So they probably have cobras in Vietnam, I'm assuming.
I think so. I think they do, yes.
But I definitely picked up on something reptile. What do y'all think about the data so far? I think it's kind of scary.
It is. I mean, obviously dark, demonic,
Yeah.
up to no good. I mean, who knows what they're up to down there in the caves?
Well, I mean, Jessica, the fact that your data seems to be unified lends a lot of truth to that data.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's go to the next page. Let's see what we have to say here. Okay, so some of my sensory data, of course, is like top, open, vast, wide open space, a meadow. I wrote a meadow, and I wrote surface level on top, cold, breezy, unsettling, nervous. I started feeling nervous when I was remote viewing this. I wrote nervous feeling and scared. On guard and nervousness are both all in my data. And then the last three things that I wrote were run with 3 exclamation points behind it, get out of there, and danger. And then I ended the session because it felt horrible.
Wow.
And so that's the very end. The very end is like, run, get out of there.
Wow.
And so I don't know if that was like something telling me to get out of there, or maybe I had I wasn't supposed to be there as a remote viewer. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I was told it says run, get out of there, danger in the data. And so I closed that one down. So there's not a ton of data for this. But however, I would say, okay, maybe the first target didn't have reptilians in it. This target, I would say that's a reptilian. I'm just gonna say I think that's a real reptilian in that picture. It's something that's not safe.
To me, it does.
I think so. Let's pull these pictures again. I mean, that's not what I pictured a reptilian would look like, though. Is that what y'all think a reptilian looks like? Because that's not what I thought a reptilian looked like.
Maybe. I mean,
yeah, maybe.
Maybe
it does. Like John said, what if they have almost like an outside skin on when they come to the surface, and that's what they look like behind their uniform? Does that make sense?
Yes.
How do we not know?
We don't know, but that's a good observation, Jane.
Because that looks different than just a reptilian. There's something different about this one.
Well, I mean, maybe he's sick. Maybe he's an outcast. Maybe he's out there living in the caves by himself and not with a family of reptilians. Maybe he's transforming, mutating. Who knows?
Yes. Bigfoot Dwarf says that reptilian has a great dental plan. Yes.
Yeah.
I hear they have the
Yeah,
best.
it does.
And the whites in his eyes are pretty white too. That's what
They
kind of gets me.
are. That's what I was wondering too. And actually, Gerald, my data kind of backs up that what you said about maybe he got kicked out, or he's got kicked out of his group, and maybe he's been outcasted, because in my data it says homeless and kicked out.
Oh yeah.
Homeless, kicked out. So that would actually lend some credence to like maybe it got kicked out of his reptilian hive down below, because this was on surface level. And you got to remember, like, I mean, I don't know if there's other levels below this cave. Maybe there's something else down there.
There is.
Look, y'all, I don't want to find out if there are any further levels. Do you?
I mean,
There's always more levels.
I've been
there's
watching
more
YouTube
layers,
lately
too.
about how many levels down they go. Yes, it's almost like an ant home.
So what if it's actually like you and James discussed? What if it's Dr. Moreau that went down inside the caves and experimenting, turning humans into reptilians or reptilians into humans? What if it was in the middle? What if that was somebody that escaped from the lab?
Yeah, bad test tube, baby.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I need to ask Jimmy Payne about that. He would know. He would definitely. I mean, yeah, especially if they were combining. I mean, in the movie from 1997 that I watched with Jimmy, with Val Kilmer in it, they were just showing like animals that had fur on them, basically, for the most part. Well, they had pigs, they had llamas, they had tigers and cheetahs and dogs.
Right.
I did not see any reptiles in there. That was interesting. That's an interesting point. I did not see any reptile combos on that movie, but maybe that's on purpose. Maybe they don't want your brain to go there. Like our government is making them. I don't know if our government would be making reptilians, because I think reptilians are just natural, always been here.
I think the reptilians are making the hybrids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's another thing.
That guy in that picture looks like he's scared, like he's hiding, like, oh no, somebody's discovering me, like he's in trouble, trying to hide. That's the feeling I'm getting from it.
It still looks
He's
like a clown mask.
He's like, help me. I don't know. Maybe he's just sitting there waiting for somebody to get a little closer so he can grab him. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that would make for a great haunted house idea.
Oh.
Okay. Yes, maybe for this Halloween, I'll be the reptilian in the cave.
Yeah, we need
All spandex. I have to wear spandex, y'all. I can't do
a
that.
cryptid house, haunted house. That would be cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think this is fantastic. I really enjoyed this target. I didn't enjoy it when I was doing it, apparently, but I enjoyed doing these targets. I think it's really wonderful. Just diving into some of these topics. I mean, this is one of the only pictures that we know of an actual reptilian. If this is a real reptilian, the data suggests it probably is. Yeah.
I think it is.
I think it is too. I do. I just always assumed they looked a little different. I mean, from the testimony that we've gotten from people like, James Rink and Daryl James has been on the show. Daryl's had a lot of, he had several encounters with reptilian humanoids, and not very good ones either.
Right.
But that's not what in my mind's eye, I don't think that's what I thought they looked like. And that's not how he described them looking. Kind of, it's more like on the thumbnail for the show tonight. If you guys saw that, that's what I think a reptilian looks like.
Right.
In my mind.
The only problem is that everybody's description is different. Just like, with Bigfoot and Dogman, everybody describes the hair different, or how tall they are, or how big they are. They had fangs, they had claws, everything's different about it. Just like an eyewitness to a crime. They can't all see the same thing. They all describe it different. So what if the reptilians are like that? Maybe nobody knows exactly what a true reptilian looks like. Maybe everybody's describing them different, or maybe they do look different.
I'm sure there's so many different types.
Well, people look different all over the globe. So it might be that the South Carolina Lizardman variety is going to look different than the Vietnam variety.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, humans, we all look different all over the world, depending on what region you live in. We even talk different as well. We have different languages and different accents. I feel like I'm in a different country when I go up to Long Island and hang out with Long Island Bigfoot. And he can't understand a word I say. And I couldn't understand a word he said. So, but anyways, that's a great point. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman says, that's my vote, a lab runaway.
Runaway.
Lab runaway.
I think so.
I think that is definitely a possibility.
Test tube
I
experiment.
think the island of Dr. Moreau lives underground now.
Yes. Well, with a lot of these programs, of course, Dr. Moreau reportedly died. They show it in the movie, but somebody carries the torch. Somebody does.
Mhm.
He ain't the only one out there doing these things.
Somebody
There's
got a
no
hold
way.
of his research papers.
Yes. That's
Or the
very true.
inmates took over.
Yes, the inmates took over the lab. There she is. Thank you, Haley, for that super sticker. I appreciate you. I finally got him to pull up. Thank you so much, Haley. I appreciate that, and thank you for your support so much. Yeah, something is definitely wrong with StreamYard tonight.
Yeah, I've never seen a chat do this.
Yeah, it's really odd. I think it's okay on like YouTube and stuff, but it's just right here on our program. It's not
Right.
very.
Yeah, I've got YouTube down here. It's going fine.
Yeah, it's really fine. So if you guys wonder why I'm not pulling up all the comments, I apologize, y'all. Yeah, I think I'm up to date now here. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're getting okay. So Dr. John, I was actually going to bring this up tonight with you because when I was looking up lizardmen in the U.S. today, I was actually looking them up because I wanted to get an idea if there had been any more reptilian sightings recently here in the U.S. And I saw that the Lizardman of Scape Swamp actually had a resurgence in 2015. Are you familiar with that? Did you know that?
I had heard that, but not really. Let's see. That was probably right before we had the first festival down there, and so yeah, I'd gotten a couple of stories, but not anything. It was just hard to find people that had stories about it, and I was probably chronicling the stuff from the 1980s and 1990s. So I didn't really come across that many stories, from 2015, but I know I heard one or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't have details on it. Okay, but I just said I was seeing it. I think it was like a newspaper article. It was some kind of article that was posted locally around Bishopville, somewhere around maybe even Myrtle Beach. I don't know. But they said that there was another sighting, and they assumed that it was probably the Lizardman of Scape Swamp had come back.
Oh, I remember that, and there was a picture, and it looked fake as all get out to me.
Well, that's what they were saying. It could have been somebody in a costume, but a lot of people thought it wasn't.
That's what I remember it. I remember the photo. I mean, I could go back in my archives and probably find it, but yeah, I didn't like that one at all. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if I talked about this with you guys. I don't remember who was on the show with me, but there was actually a show I did on reptilians in South Carolina before the Lizardman of Scape Swamp. Now, these are stories that were passed down through, I was told, like Native American tradition, talking about there was a race of people who actually had tails, and they were basically reptilians that were there on the coast of South Carolina back in I'm going to say the Christopher Columbus days, centuries ago. They talked about how they had to dig a hole. When the men would sit down, they had to basically dig a hole for their tails, or they wanted to sit in the regular chairs like the humans.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to find that. I did a show, like I said, and I have to find the information I
please
had on
find that, Jessica, and let's all take a look at that, because that would be an interesting addendum to the Lizardman companion.
It sure would. Oh,
Do all lizard men have tail? Is there reptilians that don't have tails?
That's a good question. I
The
have
one
no
I
idea.
saw in my vision in my dream did not have a tail.
Oh,
I don't know. John, do you know about the tails?
I have only heard about the Lizardman entity with a tail. Sorry, that's all that I have heard about.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm looking at the chat. Our chat we have the best chat on the internet. One of the best chats, because I know Midwest Night Watchers has a great chat too. Okay. But I got a great chat. Okay. And I love my chat. And so you guys, I know you've always got the best comments. So, oh yeah, I've actually been hearing more about mermaids as well. I have a lot of mermaid sightings lately. There's just an uptick in cryptid reports.
Yeah.
And,
why?
Yeah. Why is that?
Because the contract expired. They can roam free now.
That's what I've been kind of hearing. The contract is up and they're coming to the surface.
Somebody told me that at a disclosure conference. Can you guys explain to the audience what this contract is? Do y'all know? Is it like a galactic contract, like with the ETs or something, or is it
Something like
here?
that with the reptilians and ET. Yeah. And the contract is up.
I,
Like
I think we have
80-year
contracts with
contract.
multiple species of aliens, whether it's the reptilians or the grays, because Eisenhower had the contract. And I'm assuming there's an end date where they said
Right.
we're coming back or we're coming forward and we're going to reveal everything. And I think that date is coming soon, that the contract's going to expire, then they're free to come out.
Something about maybe 80-year contract.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess it's good that we've been talking about cryptids for, I've been on air for about what, 4 years now. I guess it's good we're putting all this information out there because it's going to be a little more shocking, I guess. I think it's been a slow rollout, though, if that's the case. It's definitely been a slow rollout.
Well, the other
but
thing I
bam.
thought of is what's going on underground that is making them come up to the surface. That's, something else to think about. Is there something going on underground that's making them come up?
Oh yes. The all the weather stuff that's been going on, the floods. I think
Right.
floods play a big role in some of these
Earthquakes,
sightings.
volcanoes, earthquakes. Yeah, all of this.
Frequency change.
Frequency change.
Jerry says the Rita, or is that Riata or Rita contract? I don't know. I don't know if that's it or not. The mayor folks are nice. Yeah, that's actually quite scary. Actually, if there was a contract and now it's up, and so they can show themselves. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're nice. It doesn't mean they were not going to try to eat us.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Okay, no fear, y'all. But at the same time, it's actually quite scary, especially when it comes to reptilians. They have a bad track record with humans. And yet, I have gotten some slack for people thought that I was saying that all reptilians were bad. Y'all remember that? And I did not. But I'm just saying the track record is not good when it comes to reptilian reports and them coming after humans.
And let's face it, you see something 8 feet tall coming after you, you're going to be scared. This scare the dickens out of you.
Yes,
Whether it's a Mr. Rogers type or a mean something trying to eat you, it scare the devil out of you. Let's face
That's right. Yes, that's true. R. Rhodey, thank you. Laura Eisenhower would be the one to contact. She's been vocal about the misinformation regarding the agreements made with the ETs and her grandfather. There's some controversy there. That's exactly right. That's why I'm definitely going to have Laura on. I always say that and I always forget to hit her up. So Laura's my friend. And she will 100%. She said that she'd love to come on the show one day. So we will definitely
they've been lying to us for almost 80 years. And all of a sudden, when 3i Atlas shows up, oh, we've got aliens up there. Wait a minute. You've been telling us all these years there isn't. Then all of a sudden they change their tune.
That's why we don't trust
their
people.
contract is almost up of being quiet, and now they're slowly releasing the truth.
Well, I think if the contract's up or the agreement's up, the government probably don't have a choice. They're probably saying, hey, it's up and we're coming back or we're coming out. So they have to come forward and to try to say, hey, yeah, there might be aliens coming.
Maybe. Yeah. They might be real now.
Yeah, that was something else. So we've talked about, I think Brian Sang has talked a lot about that, and with just full disclosure now. And he was saying that there was some sort of agreement too with, it's not just he said the cryptids. We talked about the cryptids, but also the ETs are like, look, you've got until like April of this year or something. I don't know if that's the exact date, April, to do full disclosure, or we're doing it. Okay, we're gonna show ourselves.
Maybe
so you have until this time.
Goes away.
It'll really look like the day the Earth stood still if that happens.
That is August the 12th of 2026. Now, y'all heard that show yesterday. I know Gerald and Jane, y'all know about that. Dr. John, have you heard about this? About the gravity is supposed. Now, this is just a rumor. This is people are saying this is not true. Some people are saying it's absolutely true. The rumor is there's a secret NASA program. They have a budget of $89 billion and of the taxpayer money. And they're actually working on something called Project Anchor, where they're saying, now I'm not saying I believe this. I think it's a bunch of fear loosh, but they're saying that on August the 12th of this year, for 7 seconds, the Earth will lose gravity. And it's going to cause a mass casualty event and set us back 10 years. And it's going to be a disaster. What do you think about that, John? Is that even possible?
Well, perhaps, because the
Maybe.
gravity is related to the electromagnetic potential of the Earth. Now you're getting kind of past my knowledge of physics here, but there is a relationship. And if we lost all gravity for 7 seconds, does that mean cars at intersections are going to float up and then they're going to crash down?
Yep.
Yep.
Everything.
Yes. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do y'all think? Gerald,
Well,
Jane,
I
go
I'll
ahead,
say
John.
one other thing.
Sorry.
Jessica,
Okay.
do you
Yes.
think that you could forward remote view that?
Oh.
You know what? I was actually thinking about that
Oh.
yesterday. I was like, man, that's something. And I don't like announcing targets beforehand, but for me to give to my team at some
Yeah.
point, because I would have to give that to my team to be a blind target. You know what I mean? And so yeah, that is absolutely something that can be remote viewed. Yes, it can be.
I'm
Well,
sorry, I
so-
just had to ask that question
Yeah.
because that could be very important. I mean, I'll let everybody know Jessica and I are working on some targets in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This one in the future could be very important, don't you think, Jessica?
I do. That's why I was thinking about it, John. I mean, you beat me to it. I didn't say it. I haven't said that publicly, but I think that would be a great remote viewing target. And yeah, maybe I can get some of my teammates to come on the show. We'll get them to do some remote viewing.
What
Hopefully
about
they're not watching
conspiracy?
this.
Because you know what? There is a new school of thought about time. And because we know the Big Bang Theory doesn't work.
Right.
There was nothing and then it blew up. And there's a new theory that time is infinite backwards and infinite forward.
There's no time.
There is no beginning and there's no end.
Mhm.
It has always been. And if that is the case, that would lend a lot more credence to forward remote viewing, because you always see on the internet about this time traveler came back and this and that and this and that. And I have heard, now we know Saint Malachi's prophecies and that this is the last pope, and that I have heard some people have envisioned time streams up to like 2042 and everything ends.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica, have you heard that?
Well, there's some interesting. Okay, I know I always bring up TikTok. It's like I joke around when I say it's a trusted news source. Y'all know I'm kidding, right? Okay, but I had somebody make a comment on one of my shorts today, and they're like, "Oh yeah, a trusted news source," and thought I was being serious. Okay, but anyways, they obviously don't watch my shows. Okay, but there's a guy that's going around. And he's got all these videos on social media. Now, could it be AI? Yes, 100%. But he says he's a time traveler, and he's in France and all over Europe and stuff. And he's going into all these public buildings, and there's nobody there. All the towns are wiped out. There's not a single person anywhere. And I was thinking, well, that could be just some kind of really interesting AI that's like really advanced, or he can walk into places and all the people are cut out of the picture or something. I don't know. But I don't know.
He went to Mall World.
He might be. Yeah. I don't know. This world is weird.
But if you time it just right, just like when they made the Omega Man, those streets in LA were happening right then and there. They got up early in the morning and there was nobody on the street. So it looked like a deserted.
Wow.
So if I'm assuming in another country, if you find the right place, maybe nobody gets up early and everything's deserted, or late in the evening, you could probably film that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, this guy is just going to these places when nobody's there. He's getting some kind of access. I mean, I don't know. He's also wearing a mask. He looks like a clown or something kind of. So it's a little weird. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I do believe in time travel 100%. And I do believe that there people can time travel, but who is that guy to be,
right.
I don't know. It just seems like a regular person, and time travelers are probably just regular people too, so I don't know. It's interesting. It's entertaining.
Going back to the gravity, there's conspiracies out there. The gravity is not even real. Birds
Yeah,
don't
I've
make
heard
an
that
effort
too.
flying. Balloons,
Yeah.
there's so much
It's
evidence
like
that
buoyancy instead of gravity.
is gravity even real?
I know. It's like, should it even matter? I mean, to me, I
Right.
feel like it's just a whole bunch of fear, and
Yep.
it's just something else for us to focus on so that we manifest the worst timeline. Like Barry said yesterday, it's like they're trying to push us towards a very negative timeline where
Yeah.
people are worried and stuff. And we're all about good vibes, right, Jane?
Mhm.
Keep your vibrations high, y'all. Okay.
Well, they spent months on 3-Eye Atlas scaring the crap out of everybody. And,
Yes.
we all just come like, nah, it's going to be a nothing burger. I don't buy this thing either, especially when it's coming from NASA.
And it
I
was a
don't
nothing
believe
burger.
anything from them.
Max Life, Love, and Learning says the Galactic Federation are keeping the reptilian military inside 3-Eye Atlas from invading us. FYI, I hope it stays that way. Every 3,700 years, remember the 7 seconds anti-gravity is false. It's not possible. And that's something else that I found very interesting was with my remote viewing data for that. I was given that target 3 times. Okay, the 3-Eye Atlas. The first 2 times you guys were on the show with me when we discussed it, and it was reptilians. It had reptilians in the data. The third time that I remote viewed it, it was all love and light.
Right. It was
weird.
positive.
Yeah, it shifted. It shifted. And
Why are the reptilians always in the middle of everything?
because they run the planet. That's why,
Gerald,
probably.
because they are in the middle of everything.
They are.
If we lose gravity for the 7 seconds, say it is true, we got more to worry about than just floating 10, 12 feet in the air. We got oceans that are going to be unleashed. We got us losing the moon. Well, our gravity of the moon for our body. I mean, we're just going to have so much going on besides just somebody floating down the street and then falling back to the ground. It's going to be chasmalistic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ray says, thank you, Ray. Losing gravity would apply to all mass on all on Earth. And it's not you floating away you would need to worry about, which that's what I'm thinking. Like, oh gosh, all my plates and glasses are going to break around me when they drop. No, it's worse than that. It's the tectonic shifting and volcanoes erupting you would need to watch out for. And ain't that the truth? If that's a thing, if it happens, but we're not looking to the darker timelines, hopefully. So, yeah, it doesn't exist on my timeline.
Songs come to you in remote viewing.
I always have rap songs. Yes,
I just had one. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Oh no!
I like Living on the Edge.
Living on the edge. Yeah.
Little Aerosmith. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, we're here for the ride, y'all. It is. I mean, whatever happens, it's out of our hands, right?
Yeah. We're here for a reason.
If we live in a firmament and the gravity goes away, it'd be like a snow globe. Like when you can shake it up and people be floating around, water going everywhere.
I mean, hey, you only live once, right? I don't know. I've lived a bunch of times, I think. So I think I've died a million times this lifetime, actually. So
and I'd like to make a comment about what Gerald just said, if y'all don't mind, about the firmament. It's very interesting that there seem to be 2 different views of the Earth that coexist at the same time. One is the flat Earth firmament theory. You can almost prove that, and then you can almost prove the globe Earth. And what I don't understand is how can these 2 things coexist at the same time? And I said that to the flat Earth people, and they thought I was crazy. Now, of all
they do
things,
exist at the same time.
For me to say something to Mark Sargent and about the flat Earth, and he thinks I'm crazy. Now, come on, But yeah, it's like you seem to be able to at different times prove them both, and nobody ever looks. I'll look at that, but I don't have time to do it between my conferences and everything else. But
I agree with you. There's positives on both, man. We keep telling our chat, it doesn't matter if it's flat or round. We're here together somewhere. Stop fighting about it. No one really has proof either or. We know we're somewhere. It could be a realm.
Well, either that or Jane, I'll say the a different version of what you said. It's not that we're not sure. It's just there is proof of both.
Right.
And that's what really bothers me. It bothers me so much that I don't want to think about it. I got to worry about other things. Fair enough.
You know, there's one thing that I do know is that there is a huge, I mean, it is very polarizing when it comes to the flat earth theory versus the globe. And so one thing that I have come to the conclusion on is that flat earthers and globers live in two different realities.
Yeah.
So maybe some are living on flat earth and some are living on the globe, and we're just here coexisting. That's what I think.
But they somehow seem to coexist at the same time. Like just the argument that the Suez Canal is flat for 108 miles, and it is. So that disputes the globe Earth. But then there are plenty of arguments that seem to prove the globe Earth, and nobody, everybody's so polarized they don't want to talk about that. The fact that they both seem to be coexisting at the same time.
Right.
So just thought I'd throw that out. Thank you very much.
Just like when you're talking about time, we could have the past, present, and future all happening at the same time. How do you explain that?
Right.
That's right. Yeah, we live in a wild world, man, and it can be anything we want at this point. We can make it whatever we want, and you can manifest. See, and that's what I always say the controllers. I hate to say that, but people running this matrix, they know that we manifest our own realities and stuff too, and so that's why I think a lot of this gets pushed out to the public. That's so negative. It's like, what did Max Life say? Here, let me pull this up. Because this is true. Like if we lose gravity for 7 seconds, this is the possibility, right? All electricity grids and sewers. Oh, that'd be so nasty. Sewers would collapse and all water pipes and buildings collapse. On the music, I'm with you all. Rock on. Hey, listen. What I like to say is we're all gonna die sometime. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's so terrible. That's a horrible outlook to have, and so it's kind of a joke. And I'll say that sometimes, but I mean. It's kind of out of our hands, though, isn't it? I mean, They say that they're going to send some elites down into a bunker. They've got like all these underground cities for them, so they'll be fine, apparently.
Right. But if we lose total gravity, even for just 7 seconds, there's no way you can tie yourself down. I mean, what is going to be strong enough and secure enough to tie down to when everything has a possibility of floating away or losing gravity?
Right. I wouldn't have fear over it.
I think we've seen enough videos of NASA faking their gravity stuff too. Have y'all seen those?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
In the spaceships.
No, a mouse can be up there in the space station with no problems outside crawling around. So
what if they're just throwing that out there because an event's going to happen? Maybe not losing gravity, but it's going to explain a lot of deaths that might happen because of a reset or some other kind of calamity that's going to happen.
And that's really a scary thought. Too. And somebody was joking around on a post and they were like, it's the rapture, and they said it, they were joking. Of course they were joking and somebody got upset about it. So there's another argument kind of, but anyways, it was, but it could be that there's some kind of event that's like a silent, we just had the whole show that I did. We were talking about the Venezuelan the America sending some super soldiers into Venezuela for that raid. And they had some kind of supersonic weapons or something. Just took people out. I mean, they had a bloody nose and then they were dead, basically, is what they were saying. Like I think this is like a couple hundred people at least. And so if they've got the power to do that, they have the power to do it just to normal everyday humans, civilians.
And they have.
Yeah. So it's something we kind of have to look out for, I guess. I mean,
invisible
unfortunately
helicopters were used. I didn't hear that one.
So if your nose starts bleeding,
well,
better start wondering.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, get right with God, just in case.
Better go,
you know what I mean?
And go get a paper towel.
Go get a paper towel. Yes, have a wet washcloth at hand. But it is scary, and I don't like my mind. I don't let my mind go there. Like, oh, it's that bad, because we're here to get some love and light and shine some light on the darkness.
Right.
And we are shining light on the darkness right now. Okay.
Have you ever got a bloody nose from remote viewing?
Not remote viewing. No, I never have.
Okay.
Now, I used to get bloody noses all the time when I was a kid, all the time when I was sleeping at night.
I was just curious because it seemed like everything we hear, you always hear of trickling out of the ears or the nose when people were either not necessarily remote viewing, but doing I don't know, psychic stuff or medium stuff, or even mind control or super soldier experiments. They get little nosebleeds now and then. So I was just curious how it's all connected.
That is interesting. I mean, they show 11 from Stranger Things whenever she's doing the PK experiments where she's like remote influencing something. Like they wanted her to unalive that cat in the first season and stuff.
Even abduction cases talk about nosebleeds.
Well, and that's something that was always concerning to me because as a kid, I didn't know about alien abductions and stuff, and I was getting nosebleeds a lot. Actually, my pillow, I had like this pillow. We all have our favorite pillow, right? And
Right.
when I was a kid, I had this. It was like an older pillow. It was like feathers. It was like really like goose down and stuff. It was so nice. And I had to sleep with that pillow, and it was just stained. No matter how much we washed it, it was still stained in blood because I had so many nosebleeds when I was sleeping at night. I would wake up and I'd have nosebleeds and stuff, and nobody else in the family was having nosebleeds. Okay, so yeah, it's just me. Yeah, makes you wonder. And I was always worried that there was something looking in my lace curtains in the house at night too, and all that. So, and I was always going outside looking for UFOs too. I mean, it just now it all adds up. Now it all adds up. It makes more sense now. Yeah. And then as an adult, I've had ETs in my bedroom. Okay, so, yeah.
I'll say this. There seems to be a rash on Facebook of people that have displacement occurrences. Like, here's an example of one. My favorite book was Aesop's Fables, and I made my mom read me a fable every night. And then one night, there were 2 copies of the book there. There was an extra copy of the book, and nobody got inside of my house.
Wow.
And I mean, there seems to be a rash of those, that can't find something, then all of a sudden you find it in the driveway. I've had that happen.
Right.
I mean, I gave a friend of mine a cherished private book of mine. It was some book about the paranormal, and I saw him take it, and I saw him put it in the car, and I gave him a ride back to campus. He didn't know where it was, and a couple of days later, it was sitting in my driveway. And there seems to be a rash of those things going on right now.
Or just duplicates. People say they lose something or whatever, and it comes back, and then pretty soon they have like two pair of shoes, 2 pair of hats, 2 pair of
and one is perfectly new, and the other one's old.
Oh my!
That just happened to me, y'all. Well, it's not like I didn't go buy a second pair when I lost the first pair, so I did go buy a second pair, but I had lost my earbuds case, and I swear, y'all, I looked everywhere for those things, everywhere for I'm talking about 2 or 3 weeks. They were gone, and in the meanwhile, I went and bought another set just like them, and I had those, and then all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, the other set showed up on the couch. On the couch. I sit on this couch every day.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was just sitting there. It was my extra set just sitting there. And I was like, man, did I just cross some timelines here or something? Like, what just happened? Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Maybe I have a ghost. I don't know. So, but yeah, you're talking about how like there's videos where like a woman had like 2 wedding bands show up or something. There's no way she could have had like another wedding band.
There's all kinds of videos like that. The other one I remember is mom and dad took their kid to soccer practice, and the kid's out there playing a game, and they open up the tailgate to get something out, and like there's his soccer shoes right there. It's like, well, what's he wearing? He doesn't have shoes, and he comes back off the field after the game. So now they have 2 complete sets of soccer shoes, and they're identical, same size, same make, same color, everything.
Oh, that's weird. Parallel world joining together.
I think that's
something.
I think that's what's happening.
Timelines blending together. Yeah.
But there's videos and stories of lots of people having the same thing. They end up having duplicate of the same object.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Ray says losing the stuff and finding 2 copies sounds like the Fae.
Wow.
That's like the Fae.
Well, something else that we've been discussing for a while is like the Earth splitting, like the 5D split, the 3D to the 5D. And so I wonder if that's kind of something that's happening too. Like, I don't know if the split has already been made. Maybe some of us are we're literally living in 2 different worlds right now.
Could be.
Yeah, could be that too.
And they're merging at certain points.
Well, anyone else having dreams that seem like they're actually feeling more real than normal? They normally do feel real, but to me, the last month or so, they're more real. And I wake up and it's like, this don't feel real to me. I'd rather be sleeping because it seems like there's something so different about where I'm at when I'm sleeping. But it just seems more real.
Oh yeah, my dreams have always been more real than my real life.
Wow, are we dreaming now? Yeah.
Well, Dr. Richard Allen Miller says that this is a dream, that we are in a like a lucid dream. That's what this life is.
Right.
He said.
Wow, this is a nightmare then. I'd rather
He
go
said-
back to sleeping and dreaming.
I know.
Maybe we're somebody else's dream.
That's
Ew.
right. Yeah, he said that when we die, we wake up. He said, yeah. So I don't know.
Wow.
It's a lot of food for thought, y'all. We've had a lot of food for thought tonight.
And have no fear, everybody. Whatever happens is going to happen. It's meant to happen. We can't change things. We're here to ride it out.
So have fun.
Yeah,
Just have fun.
Stock
That's
up
Do
on
things you like.
popcorn.
Eat the cake, eat the popcorn, whatever. Have a candy bar. It's okay, y'all.
Whatever
Okay? Just
happens, happens.
savor life. Go out and have fun. Go on vacation. Do stuff. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
That's
Just
right.
enjoy life.
Mhm.
Take chances. Take risks. Don't go bungee jump or jump off of,
I
don't go
see.
parachuting and stuff.
I see people in chat, or at least one, is saying they want to marry you, Jessica. If it's going to be the end of the world, you might as well get married.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm
got
behind.
wedding
My
proposals
comments are
coming
rolling up.
Wow.
Man, that's quite the proposition there. I don't know if I go that far because I don't know who that is, but thank you for the offer. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Now, don't think too much about it
Oh,
now.
man. That is so funny. Thank you. Thank you. I love my audience. Y'all are the best. Every one of you. Even the one that said marry me. Whatever. I appreciate that. But yeah. Man, well, this has been a really interesting show tonight, y'all. Very,
been fun.
very informative, very fun. Yes. I want to thank y'all, all three of y'all, for being here tonight with me. And I think we're solving the mysteries of the world one little target at a time over here.
Yep.
Or
And then
maybe
more
not.
questions open up.
Yeah, we're just actually making more questions than answers, actually, I think. But anyways, well, how about y'all tell everybody? Okay, let's start with Jane and Gerald. Can y'all tell everybody where people can find you? Tell everybody about your channel and your channels, plural, and
Well, you
stuff.
know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Oh no. I already got this up on the screen. Jane.
Oh,
Thank you, though.
I was going to say War Woman Goods.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, go to Giro Sounds if you are stressed out, you need to relax. I've got singing bowl videos, hand pan, tongue drums, Native American flute, just a huge variety of instruments that will help everyone just kind of de-stress, unwind, and just find some sanity and peace.
It's very relaxing. I
Thank
still
you.
love your hand pans. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful
there's
music.
something heavenly about the hand pan. They're just so beautiful sounds. Yeah. It's very
Well,
relaxing.
Well, you have the talent behind it too. It's not just the hand pans. It's Jane. Okay.
Thank you. It's not me. I give the good Lord the credit.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so y'all go to Chiro Sounds on YouTube. Please go and subscribe. And also, y'all have Midwest Night Watchers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys can get a hold of us and watch us on YouTube, Rumble, and we have a Facebook group and page. And you can just watch all of our guests that we have on, including Jessica's been on there and John's been on there. And you guys can just go watch to your heart's content. And we also have our 24/7 live feed that's on YouTube. We can watch the animals at night and during the day and whatever else creeps around. And
It's
let
winter
us know if
time.
you see anything and get a hold of us at midwestnightwatchers@gmail.com.
Say it's winter time. The deer come up almost every single night now.
Oh man, that's amazing. You guys also have a shop too. Do you want to promote your shop and all your goods?
Yeah, we have merchandise for our logos. This shirt happens to be on there, and Jane's logo and Midwest Night Watchers logos. And we have American Legends, where we have Robot Grandma and Wolfman and Bigfoot on our
favorite.
shirts. And
Fantastic. Amazing clothing line, y'all. Y'all go check them out too. And so wonderful. Thank y'all so much, man. And so yeah, if you guys have not already subscribed to Midwest Night Watchers and Shiro Sounds, please go do that. Okay. And of course we have the Honorable Dr. John Stamey as well. Yes, John, tell the audience about all your conferences, whatever events you got coming up, where people can find you, anything you'd like to promote tonight.
Well, first of all, they can find me in Morganton, North Carolina, number 1. Number 2, you can always find me at Dr. John Stamey at gmail.com. 2 things that I'm promoting heavily right now. I've got more, but I want to keep these 2 in everyone's mind. First of all, February 21st, Western North Carolina Comic-Con. That is on the campus of Western Carolina University in Cullowhee, North Carolina. Be there. It's going to be a blast. Jessica will be one of the keynote speakers, along with Mark Muncy. Yeah. I will be there. Matt Delf will be there. John Price of Alabama MUFON will be there. And a couple other folks, and I can't remember them right now. And second of all, Georgia Bigfoot Conference, 9th big year. That is in Clayton, Georgia. Well, actually, Tiger, Georgia, at the Big Shoals Junctions. Great location. Brand new building, great location. Come, we're going to have a lot of fun. Jessica Jones will be there too. I'll be there too. The cast of characters will be there, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So come see us. And that's about all I got to say for right now. And Jessica, I want to say thank you so much for having us all on here. We've had fun. We always have fun when you're here with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I try to keep the mood light. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. I've never been to Tiger, Georgia. Where is Tiger up near Clayton? Where's that at?
Tiger is right next to Clayton. The city limits are right next to each other.
Oh
my gosh.
Is there a Tiger the 9th year?
Pardon?
You said this is their 9th year?
Yeah, our 9th year of the Georgia Bigfoot Conference.
Wow.
TYGER, Tiger, Georgia.
Wow.
It's right next to Clayton. And the building is on Highway 441, the big highway that goes through Clayton and goes on down into Atlanta. So it's easy to find.
And John, you also have Scary Cast and Bigfoot and Company on YouTube, right?
Yes, that's right. Scary Cast. Scary Cast is getting ready to go on television.
Woo!
Yay!
Next week.
Big time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And I've got Jessica lined up. Matt Delph's going to be there. Elijah Henderson's going to be there. Garrel and Jane are going to be on there 1 week. I got all my friends going to be on there 1 week, but we're going to be on television. We're going to be on Fox 43, WFXB, Florence, Myrtle Beach. And then we're going to be over in Greenville here soon enough to cover the area where we do all of our conferences. So more about that later. When I get that press release out, I'll send it to you, Jessica, and you can let everybody know we're going to be worldwide on Scary Cast.
Oh my
gosh. We're worldwide right now, John, too. Okay. We have a very international audience. I can't wait. I can't wait to be on there with you at some point.
I bet the Reptilians are watching the caves.
Reptilians. They are.
That's right. Watch out them caves now.
Yes. They're probably your biggest fans, John, actually, because you do them a good service by speaking about the Lizardman, Escape or Swamp quite often, and coming on my show, and plus Bigfoot and Company on YouTube as well.
That's right. And it's fun. And I mean, okay, I moved up to North Carolina. Let me tell you what's going on here. I have 2 ghosts here in the house. I have seen them both. They were friends. I'm in my hometown where I grew up. They were friends of my parents. They are here. I woke up the other night at 3 a.m. and I heard somebody talking in the other room. I said, "Oh, that's my cousin's daughter. She's come over. It must be early. It must be like 8 o'clock in the morning." I looked out and I looked at my clock. It was 3:42. Now come on. So I've got ghosts here. And I have, I believe, a very tall, large, hairy dude that's down there at the corner of the property.
Oh my.
Uh-huh. And I mean, it's just, y'all, it's a barrel of laughs wherever I live. I hope Mr. Mansfield will appear. He was my ghost over down there in Conway. I hope he'll come up here and hang out with us. Mr. Mansfield was in the kitchen all the time. Golly. And people could hear him banging around. We'd be sitting in the living room and hear somebody banging around in the kitchen. So yeah, I seem to have a cast of characters that like to follow me, and might have a couple more. We're going to get some. The last thing I'll say is we're getting ready to get out some information on Rosemary Brown, the great psychic and spiritualist who spoke and listened to famous composers and wrote over 500 major classical works. She kind of like fell into, people started forgetting about her. We're not going to forget about Rosemary Brown. She's very important. And Jessica, we've talked about that. And I think I'm going to be on Jessica's show sometime soon. And I will be talking about Rosemary Brown. And of course, the great romantics, Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, and Dr. Polidori. I'll be talking about both of those groups of people at the Western North Carolina Comic-Con. So be sure to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We just have too much fun. Hey, Jane and Carol and Jessica, don't we have too much fun?
Always.
You have to have fun.
As much fun as a barrel full of lizardmen.
A barrel full of lizardmen. That
I'll
would be something fun
remember
to
that, Carol.
promote. I need to stock up some barrels full of lizardmen in my.
I know that'd be a good game.
That would be.
Lizard people.
Oh my gosh! Hey, John, tell those ghosts to go make you some dinner tonight, or like sweep the floors or something. Make themselves useful if they're going to live with you, right?
Yeah, you got new friends.
That's all right. They keep me company.
Yeah.
When I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I hear somebody mumbling off to the side, I know they're there.
You got new friends.
I guess that's good. I don't know, I wouldn't like that.
Some new ones, yes, and
Yeah.
they're in fact, the couple that's here, they were friends of my parents. They were very nice people, and so they're here. They're kind of like watching over me and making sure nothing bad happens. Because I tell you what, I'd hate to be some burglar and come in through my house and they see one of those ghosts fully materialize. I guarantee you they'd do that. It'd scare the fool out of them.
Man, it sounds like I need to come up and do a paranormal / cryptid investigation at your house.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Me
Matt
and Matthew
Delph.
Delph.
Yeah, well, Matt's coming. Okay, we'll let you know, and then we've got a field trip out to Louisiana. We got to do too. So
We'll
anyway,
do
yeah.
that. Okay, we'll do that. Yes, and shout out to the badass monster hunter himself, Matthew Delph. And yes, y'all, this has been so wonderful tonight. Thank y'all so much again for being here. And John, please stay safe out there. And also, I wanted to let you guys know I have Gary Spike Sr. on the calendar for this Saturday night. We're going to go on the hunt with Gary.
Ooh,
As
all
long
right.
awesome.
as we can still make this happen this weekend. And so thank you, Gary. Gary's also a moderator, y'all. And but Gary's been on the show. We had a wonderful show a few months ago. He came on it's probably about 6 months ago, I think. He said, thanks everyone for joining the show, hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and hitting that hype button, y'all. You can hype these videos now. So thank you so much, Gary. That's so sweet of you.
Yep.
And I'll see you
Gary-
on Saturday, Gary.
Gary's the best mod out there.
Yeah.
He is. He mods a lot of channels. Y'all.
Mhm.
Everybody knows Gary. And so we've got a big weekend coming up. And I guess I will see everybody on Saturday night. And also I want to thank Haley again for that super sticker. Thank you so much. It's probably for the candle fund, I bet. Thank you so much. And all right, y'all. Well, I hope everybody learned a little something tonight, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I know I always learn something from all these wonderful co-hosts and guests that we have here. And please stay safe out there, y'all. Don't live in fear.
Right.
Don't live in fear. We shine light on some really dark stuff sometimes, but it's all in good fun in the very end. And to let everybody know it's out there, live in awareness. Don't live in fear.
Mhm.
Okay. And all right. Okay, y'all. Well, oops, my computer is dying. Hold on 1 second, and then I'm going to shut the show down. I got to put a battery thing in my computer. Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry. My whole screen almost went blank. Okay. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will see you guys back here on Saturday. Go subscribe to Chiro Sounds, Midwest Night Watchers, and Bigfoot and Company on YouTube, y'all. And yeah, like I said, don't go caving if you don't have to at this point. I'm just saying. That's my advice.
Don't go caving.
Don't go caving, y'all. Okay. Well, y'all, I will see you on Saturday, like I said. And yeah. All right. Oh, and if you want to see the data, the raw data is on my Patreon again. Okay. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but maybe not. I'm having a senior moment. Everybody have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.